What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best quill volley Spiritborn build in Diablo 4 Season 9. This setup will focus on the quill volley skill, which will fire several feathers, and can even shotgun enemies with millions upon millions of damage. By combining rebound aspect, we can hit enemies up to 20 times, which in return will trigger various effects like the potent and lucky hit procs and much more. And before we continue, thanks to U4GM, they are a pro website that provides Diablo 4 services like cheap gold with fast delivery and pro carry runs, as well as unique and legendary items. They also have more than 17,000 comments on Trustpilot, and this website is really worth a try. So make sure to use my discount code KATE for extra 6% off. So let's start off with the skills, and we will be using the Scourge, Ravager, Counterattack, the Hunter, Armored Hide and the Quill Volley. While this build relies on the Eagle skills to deal damage, we choose primary the Gorilla and secondary the Jaguar in our Spirit Hall to benefit from barriers, powerful passives and easy access to unyielding hits. Together with the harmony of the Ebavega, we gain a massive damage bonus by combining these different spirits in the same setup. This build doesn't need much to get started, besides one dungeon codex power. And Spiritborn has also access to many strong aspects that amplify this build. Our primary objective in this case is creating an infinite resource engine as soon as possible to spam the Quill Volley while triggering the Road of the Kepalek every attack. So then moving over to our skill tree, and this is what we have. And by the way guys, you can find the link to this full build and website guide in this video's description. For this setup to work, you will need to have a level 60 character and have unlocked the Torment 1. So then in the first section we spend just 4 points, so we put 3 into the Rock Splitter, while 1 more into the Enchanted node. Then we move over to the next section and spend few points into these 2 nodes, and then fully upgrade our Quill Volley. And then finally we get these 2 more Enchanted nodes. As you can tell, the Quill Volley is our main ability. We either way spray into packs or destroy elites and bosses from a close range. In the late game, we use this ability non-stop while pressing our other cooldowns from time to time. Then we move over to the third section and spend a bunch of points in the Unrestrained Power, Mirage, Focal Point and Apex. And then spend 1 more point to unlock the Ravager. Ravager adds a chip damage against targets we hit, but more importantly, it allows us to dash into packs while using our main DPS skill. Then the next part is where we spend most of our points to get the most importantly the Armored Hide, Counterattack and Scourge. Then for all of them, get 2 Enchanted nodes and then also upgrade the Auspicious and Perseverance to rank 3. Armored Hide is our defensive tool and main source of resolve. The Counterattack grants us an extra dodge and crit damage and can be used actively to negate nearly all incoming damage. And finally the Scourge will give us a lot of extra damage, but more importantly it will negate the life drain of just thick steel armor chest. Then after that we go into one of the last sections to get the rank 3 in Resilient, Brilliance, Potent and Furnace. Then in the next section we unlock the Hunter and fully upgrade it. Also we want to get rank 3 for Resolution, Spiritual Atonement and Supremacy. The Hunter is our ultimate ability. It does a moderate amount of damage on its own, but it's mainly used for mobility and our offensive buffs. And finally for our key passive we select the Prodigy's Tempo. Later in our rotation we will want to keep our Ravager and Armored Hide skills as much as possible, and then they will get reset by our Prodigy's Tempo. Then next let's take a look at our gear. So upon finishing the leveling process and approaching the endgame grind, many of the aspects you use are already available to use from the Codex of Power. There's no reason that you should not put them to immediate use, since they can be imprinted as often as needed as you upgrade your gear. Most of our gear will be yellow with few legendary pieces as well. So for the chest, gloves, boots and weapon, you can use whatever best you got at this moment. But then for legendary farming pieces, we want the runic skull cap of the Endurance, then the runic mail of Interdiction, then rebounding runic gloves, then runic leggings of the Forest Power, then duelist runic cleats, then the smash quarterstaff of the Unyielding Hits, then the occultist eye of Plains Power, then the Soul Watch hoop of the Redirected Force, and also the Soul Watch hoop of the Accursed Touch. This early setup will give us a functional build to begin farming with. With this setup you can farm the legendary aspects you need for the next progression point, which is our fully completed endgame build. So then when you have a bit of grinding complete and you get access to at least few ancestral aspects, then we can start focusing on our final endgame setup by using the harmony of the Ebavaka helmet with the damage reduction, then for the chest armor, the Yacid shell with the maximum life, then for gloves, the rebounding aspect with the attack speed, then for the pants, the aspect of the apprehension with armor, then the Rakanat's Wake boots with the resistance to all elements, then for weapon we use the rod of the Kelepeki with maximum resource, then for amulet we get the aspect of unyielding hits with the total armor, then for the first ring we get the aspect of redirected force with maximum life, and finally for the second ring get the ring of Midnight Sun with the cooldown reduction. Then also as far as runes go, you can have up to 2 rune boards in your setup, each consisting of 1 ritual and 1 evacuation rune. I recommend to socket them in 2-handed weapons if your build calls for them, otherwise place them in your armor pieces to replace normal gems. The first best combo is the Pakan Q. We will constantly spend all of our resources by triggering the Earthen Bulwark for extra defense and synergy with the Vicious Shield, so this will be a great addition. Or then the second combo is with the Zol and Cry, as Quill Volley relies on shotgunning enemies from close range, so thanks to the Vortex we make sure that the monsters don't run away after using the Scourge. And then finally we have the gems, and for weapons and armor we get the Emerald Gem, while for all of our rings and amulets we equip the skulls for the armor increase. Then next up let's go over to the Paragon board, and as there are 324 different choices that I made, so I won't explain each one's reasoning, but most importantly what you need to know is that this board is optimized to give us as high damage as possible, while reducing our cooldowns as much as physically we can. So on the starter board we follow this path and select the Fulminate glyph for extra lightning damage. Then we go to the top and select the Convergence board. Then we use this exact path, and for the glyph get the Talon, which increases your eagle's kill damage. Then now we move to the left and get this Vicious Shield board. Then afterwards we follow this path, and for the glyph get the Spirit, which will increase our critical strike damage. Then next we go down and get the Sapping board. Then keep following this path and select the Revenge glyph for the extra damage to the enemies when we use our Torn skills. And now finally we want to move to the left and get the Revealing board. Then we follow this path and select the Colossal glyph, which will increase our damage after each stack of the resolve we have. Next we have the mercenaries, who are unlocked during the Vessel of Hatred campaign, in which assist you in battle. The best pirate is the Rahair. He provides us with fortify, stuns and some extra damage, more armor for the unyielding hits, and he also prevents us from getting one-shotted every 30 seconds, thanks to the Valiance. And then for the reinforcement, the best option is the Variana. We chose the Earthbreaker for the extra crowd control, which preferably happens exactly when we cast the Scourge, so the monsters don't run away. And then as for the skill tree, so we get the Shield Charge, then the Rahair's Guard, then the Crater, and then we finish it off with the Iron's Wolf Call. And now finally we have come to the last and final part, which is the gameplay and our skill rotation. And as this build is extremely easy and simple to use, so this time I don't even have a particular rotation, rather I will just explain what you want to keep on doing with all of your skills. So first off, we want to spam the Quill Volley at all times to deal as much damage as possible. For tanky elites and bosses, we will want to get into melee range for the shotgunning effect, but to be honest, all you need to do is spam this skill and see these huge DPS numbers. Then next we want to upkeep the Ravager and the Armored Hide as much as possible, which will also get reset by the Prodigy's tempo.